And there's been a move within the certainly within the city's work that I've been involved with through the Commission is towards that systems thinking, the complex systems approach, and how, without taking the systems, because if you imagine, you could talk about the food system, you could talk about the transport system, you could talk about the education system through the urban lens, but they're all entirely interconnected, so creating that overarching complex systems approach to thinking is one thing. You know, in theory that sounds great, but of course often in practice it doesn't fall out like that. And so how do we move from that reductionist approach to a more systems approach? And then the idea of who's got the influence in making this making these issues happen. This isn't really the city level, and you may have seen this in the context of any sort of obesity work, people involved in obesity. You know, we here in this room are all very interested and think that health and health equity is the only thing in the world to be concerned about, sort of. But you know, do we really, we've got a very high level of interest, but do we really have any sort of influence? And in trying to work out how do you move the agenda, who do you engage with? We were speaking about the media yesterday and the role of the media and all of this, and you can see they're right up there shaping the obesity activities. The media is right up there in terms of influence, and you would argue not an awful lot of interest in actual health purposes. So you know, that positioning, that strategizing of how you bring those with the interest and the expertise along the framework of influence, I think would be very important for urban health equity. And so, last slide, taking that health equity forward in all local policies, and that should really be policies, programmes, actions of all sorts. I'm not going to read through each of that, but what came out time and time again was human capacity and having the evidence and using the evidence to make the case for action in a whole variety of sectors, demonstrating where things were going wrong, but also being able to demonstrate where things were improving. So if you know that the before and after picture of the favela in Brazil, to me that's a lovely, it's a picture, but it demonstrates that things can change, and now what we need to do is document why that happened. But so having that routine assessment in place across the sectors, and I've been saying to colleagues while I've been here, you have such wonderful data in New Zealand, you know, the world is jealous of your data, and so how you use that data to keep the eye on the health equity impact at that urban level would be really important. That's what we've...
Well, I'd like everyone to join me in thanking Sharon for that.